Good afternoon everybody and welcome to American Truck Simulator. Today I'm going to be doing some more testing on a work in progress mod I'm making. Right now it's just a private mod, cunningly called the Red Thunder engine pack, though it does contain some transmissions and some other stuff I'm going to be playing around with. So let's jump into the game and let's take a look at some of the engines and transmissions I've been looking at. So starting off with, I like the idea of some kind of hybrid or some kind of electric motor in a truck, but the game's mechanics, it's a little difficult to implement this. Well, I've had a go. So we'll jump into the shop here and we'll take a look at what we've been doing with the engines. So right now, for testing purposes, these are only valid for the W900, or for my W900 I should say, but if these work I'll take them to all the other trucks, at least all the ones I use. So here we have a couple of engines. The Red Thunder Hybrid 400, cunningly named because of the maximum power output, and the Hybrid X 600. So both of these have the same power and torque curve, and the long and short are they produce peak torque at 0 RPM. That's not entirely accurate for a hybrid, but for the purposes of what I'm doing, it's close enough. The difference between these two, one's a lot more powerful. Actually, there's a bit more difference than this. The Hybrid 600 does not produce as much torque for as broad as the rev range. So its peak power is 600 as opposed to 800 horsepower. That's fair enough. And together with this, I'm also working on a transmission. Now there are three transmissions here. We have the 3A, the Allison retarder. That's probably not going to be not going to make it to production, and the Endurant retarder. These two may or may not make it, but right now I'm just focusing on the 3-speed automatic. Yes, a 3-speed auto. And this particular 3-speed has a that's interesting. It has a final drive of 2.09, but I thought I'd change that. I think I wanted to change that actually, and I moved the torque converter back to 2.64. Okay. Well, the idea behind the 3-speed auto and the torque converter is, in effect, you've got 4 speeds. As we get to drive along, you go first, second, it's sort of this 2.5 on the torque converter, and then you drop into third. And third gear is the tallest gear that you have. The idea there is, well, if you're using an electric motor, you probably just have 1 or 2 speeds on a semi. If you fiddle around with the torque converter settings and you can use a single gear, you can have it behave a little bit like a CVT, continuously variable transmission. I will not be doing that for this particular mod. Right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and jump out of the game, correct that, so it's final drive of 1.79 was what I was playing around with, and I'll be back. Okay, one quick mod back, one quick tweak of a text file. Let's jump back into the game and just check that my 3-speed automatic is still doing its thing and still has a final drive of 1.79. Okay, let's take a look. So transmissions, that's better. That's what I was wanting. So all being equal, that particular final drive, and it's a direct drive as well, so top ratio is 1:1. Basically means I'm doing 67 miles per hour per 1000 RPM. Now this engine produces peak torque at 0 RPM, so it means we can cruise comfortably at less than 1000 revs, at least in California. I could experiment with this one, and we may well do so. Also right now, a couple of points. Number one, the sound it makes. I'm using Zeemods Caterpillar C3406B. It's about the closest I could find to maybe an electric-y type whiny sound. And secondly, these engines will not be $750, but because I'm prototyping and changing and I don't have much money, that's what I'm going with. Right. So as you can see, I have been driving this, and 21 to the gallon is an impressive miles per gallon figure. These the changes I've made since I drove the last time will probably change that figure. Okay, so 30, it still wants second gear. Yeah, I made another tweak to the engine brake. It was very, very weak. It's much better now.
Fahrt vorsichtig.
Oh, that's a double. Okay. I should probably have spotted that. Pickup's very strong, and I guess the torque converter certainly helps there as well.
Biege nach links ab.
Alright, getting out of there was a bit of a chore. This thing does not slow down very quickly on the service brakes. Getting out of the yard was a bit of a chore, but welcome to the highway, so let's see how well it accelerates. And so far, not impressive. That's full power. Looks like it activate cruise, so it's good quickly enough. Now it's picking up, and that is a very steep gradient, so alright, so pretty much skipped the transient torque converter third gear type thing, straight to top. Let's get the windows up. So it's a very different experience. There's none of this changing gear, changing gear, changing gear, changing gear. I have to stop. Really? Okay. So £77,000 with a bit of change. And second gear. Okay. Not exactly bowled over by the acceleration, but that's alright. That's 32 and drop straight into third. That seems a little tall for third gear. Yeah, it's struggling. I'm going to tap resume and watch it struggle. It's accelerating, but alright, well, I can tweak that. I found something else I want to fix. I couldn't hit record quickly enough, but I had to brake firmly for this closed road. Transmission shunted down, I think, to first gear and knocked me out of gear because I guess I was slowing down too quickly. Thank you, white car. Anyway, the long and short were lots of noise as we slowed down, and then as the deceleration stopped. So.
Okay, lass uns eine neue Route finden.
Oh, wait, what? Alright, I'll go this way.
Bitte rechts halten.
She changed her mind on me, I'm sure of it. Oh, I see. Yeah, I could have gone the other way. Oh, well, never mind. It's just a prototype.
Achtung, achten Sie auf die Geschwindigkeitsbegrenzung.
Picked up speed very quickly. Oh, and doesn't... That was real close. Doesn't stop very quickly. I nearly ran into the back of that hay truck. Yeah, then I could have gone, hey! Watch out. I suppose I should do the how well does it launch thing. So full on the foot brake, full on the power. It's spinning his wheels. What do you know? I should have expected that really. Okay. Green light, so that's spinning, off we go. And did the whole short shift to second gear thing, which utterly killed my acceleration.
Demnächst rechts
Now it's picking
abbiegen.
up. That was a long walk on a wet beach to
Biege
a
nach
chip
rechts
shop
ab.
that was closed. Okay, so need some refinement, but by watching this, hopefully you've got the idea of what I'm trying to accomplish. Now, whether I will keep working on it or not, I don't know. It's certainly an interesting departure from, you know, the 18 speeds and the
Wir sind fertig.
slightly peaky power delivery. So, let's see how well I did. First of all, not going to try the difficult parking, even if I could. Okay, well, that's not a bad trip. It's just over 8 to the gallon, and yeah, I would say that we definitely save fuel compared to most other engines in this truck. If you like what you've seen, go ahead and click like. Or like if you like the fact that you've heard me rambling on. If you don't like it, that's okay, click dislike. You can subscribe to watch and listen to more of this. And finally, thank you ever so much for watching, I appreciate it. Goodbye.